The Modelling Religious Change project is a great adventure in demographics, in computational social simulation, in the scientific study of religion, and even in policy. We're looking at the period from 1900 to about 2100. We're trying to reconstruct the processes of religious change in several different countries, which are quite diverse from one another. This is important because countries have quite different cultures and processes of religious change underway. We're looking at Norway and the United States and New Zealand, which tend to be somewhat similar, but we're also looking at Argentina and Nigeria and India from three very different parts of the world, where religious change means something quite different. We're also trying to think about China. China is interesting and complicated because it includes the Communist Revolution, in which there was an official resistance to all kinds of religion. And yet in recent decades, the Chinese government has tended to be more open about religion. So you've got a very different pattern of religious change in China than you have in any of the other nations that we're studying. We're trying to describe the way religious change occurs in several different senses. One major way that happens is through secularization. Another way is through conversion. And I'd like the Modelling Religious Change project to have a future in the understanding of the non-religious. This is one of the most dramatic forms of religious change in the history of our species. The decline of large-scale religious traditions and the sequestering of people's spiritual quests into the realm of the personal. And putting those types of change together is important for trying to understand the possible futures of religion. What's that going to be like? How's that going to work? It's complicated, and we need to work hard to understand it. We're endeavoring to look at religion from lots of different perspectives. We are looking at affiliation, and we are looking at public service attendance, but we're also looking at private religious practices, and we're looking at people's supernatural worldviews, and we're also looking at people's subjective sense of religiosity. How important is religion to them? Those different dimensions of religion allow us to have a much more fine-grained view of religion and religious change. What's fascinating about those 5 dimensions is that they are difficult to measure. Censuses, for example, usually only ask about affiliation, but there are a lot of surveys that have been asked where it's possible to find measures of those other dimensions. But those surveys run at different times in different sets of countries. They have different sampling practices. So there are very complicated technical questions in demographics and social science required to collect all of that data up and pull it together to tell a more accurate, multi-dimensional story of religiosity. So the opportunity of the Modelling Religious Change project is to put demographers together with religious studies experts and people who do computational social science to see if we can't provide some solutions to problems that demographers have encountered when they try and study religion. The Modelling Religious Change project probably has a future in helping us more deeply understand religion, religious identity, religious change, religious dynamics, and be very glad if those insights could be implemented in the way policy professionals think about the interaction between religion on the one hand and social services, economy, political stability on the other hand. The scientific study of religion has worked hard to deepen its understanding of religion in the last 30 years or so. The Modelling Religious Change project is capitalizing on all of that work, but also advancing the work, bringing us closer to having computational systems that are able to express the complexity and nuance of religious identity and change, especially through multidimensional understandings of religion and through understandings of how people change along all of those dimensions as they interact with other people in their social worlds. We're trying to build computational simulations of those processes. Now, the main thing we're trying to generate within this model is religious change. What we want is for these agents to decide whether they're going to go to a religious service, whether they're going to do a private religious practice like prayer or meditation, whether they still believe in the supernatural beliefs of their religious group, how important religion is to them, whether they're even going to affiliate as religious. We want them to be making those decisions in ways that match what we know from the social psychology of religion. That's quite the challenge, and it hasn't really been done before. And what we're trying to do is to pull together everything we know about religiosity and religious change to build the kinds of agents who can populate an artificial society so that we can reconstruct 120 years of history in several different types of countries. But once we've got that story, we've got the perfect basis for building a computational simulation that can back project to make sense of the past and then be used as a foundation for projecting forwards into the future.